Hey, this is Nick here from Below Zero Wrestling. Excited to be here, and we're drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. Everybody, welcome Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill with YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all the good stuff because it helps with that pain in the butt algorithm they got there. It's just pain in the butt. We are most places you can find your audio podcast too. Today, I'm excited to have with me Nick Stokey of Below Zero Wrestling out of North Dakota, getting ready for their big show coming up on November 4th. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. Like I mentioned before we started recording, I had a pretty awesome night last night as of, recording this. I was at Raw last night, and that was pretty cool getting to see some people that I haven't been able to watch live for a while. Got to see some pretty cool moments. I'm a big fan of the Viking Raiders, so getting to see,
Yeah,
that Viking rules match was a highlight for me.
I really like that match. I love the Viking Raiders as well, and Ivar, and they're giving him a little bit of a push. It seems like so that's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be pretty pretty epic. I had a great time that match, and then I don't know if it showed. I have yet to go watch it back because I'm gonna watch it back to hear the commentary. But the little moment that Cody, Jay, Sammy, and Kevin all shared at the end of the match, I don't know if it showed it yet because they had a little moment there at the end. I don't know if
Okay.
Raw was off the air already.
I actually missed the last part of that match. Just my kids were getting ready to go to bed, so I
Mm.
I wouldn't know or not, but I that was like the one spot that I missed last night.
Like I said, I'm going to be watching it back
Yeah.
anyways. But we're here to talk Below Zero. You have actually had quite a few people, well, a handful that I've talked to on the show come through your doors, including your current tag team champions, the Crucible.
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
them on a
definitely.
little while back.
Yeah, they just won the titles couple 2 shows ago. Was that right? Two, yeah, back here in Fargo at Summer's Night main event, and that was a wild match between them and NDS.
I bet.
Um, they a rope broke. It was a tornado tag.
Ooh.
Bodies were flying everywhere, and they're they walked out, with the tag titles and two, great wrestlers with Jameson and Brixton there, and
Oh yeah.
we love having them a part of Below Zero Wrestling.
Oh yeah. They've been tearing it up down here in Omaha
Oh yeah,
the past couple of years, actually recently winning another set of tag titles down here. So that's been pretty big moments for them lately. And I can't remember if it was this last show for you guys, but the, well, I guess now former champ Gino Rivera had him on. And, he, like I said, former champ, now the current champ, Brandon Nitro, very familiar with him through some of his matches down here. So it's pretty cool. Now he's Well, again, another championship to his collection right now.
Yeah, Nitro's, he's been a day one guy. He's been here since our very first event. Um, and he deserves that title as much as anyone. And him and Gino put on a phenomenal match. Um, they had to follow the tag team match that broke the bottom rope. Didn't have time to fix it, so they adapted and had a great match. We had two title changes there at that show, but yeah, we love having Brando and Gino. Gino was champion there, but Brandon's the champ now, and he'll carry that title very well for Below Zero Wrestling.
Oh, I imagine so. And the people always say with wrestling, card is subject to change. Don't really think too much of, it's a match that was advertised, but having to change stuff around because of a rope breaking or something like that.
Yeah. It luckily it was the bottom rope, and
Ah,
that
true.
so that helped. But a guy like Gino, who is a little shorter than some guys, uses that to his advantage sometimes.
Mhm.
So they adapt and they make it work. And I watched that match back, and I honestly halfway through the match was like, oh yeah, there's no bottom rope. So it was still that quality of match without having to worry about the ring and the rope not being there.
Well, I can, yeah, that definitely shows the quality of the match they're having when watching it back. You might not necessarily remember, like, oh wait,
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
have a bottom rope there. Definitely. And then for people that might not be as familiar with Below Zero Wrestling, you also have a Sub Zero champ who right now, DeLorean Diggs. I am familiar with him again through some of his matches down here in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, like I said, for those that might not be as familiar with Below Zero, the Sub Zero champion, what is describe that? I guess is the
It
direction I would.
a lot of the easiest way is some people have described it as like our intercontinental champion essentially. But DeLorean has elevated it, it's as important as anything else. I mean, the guy has wrestled, I think he's had like four defenses now. I could be wrong on that. He's a fighting champ, I guess you can say, and not that
Yeah,
Nitro or the Crucible won't be either, but they just got
yeah.
them. But
He,
he's had them. So, while some people may think it's our secondary title, it's not. I mean, I value DeLorean's another guy that's been around Below Zero since our very first event.
yeah.
He was in a tag match at our very first event, and he's so deserving, and we're so thankful to have him there. And man, he's been a great champion too. I mean, he like I said, he's literally anyone and everyone has had an opportunity at that.
That is awesome. There's been people throughout wrestling history that have held the, I guess, air quotes, secondary title in different promotions, but through their matches and their defenses have made that title sometimes mean just as much, if not more, than the air quotes main title. Like
Mhm.
Rob Van Dam, when he had that run with the ECW television champion, is one that I firmly think of every time that comes up.
I'm a big Rob Van Dam fan, and I honestly, as a kid, didn't realize that Van Dam wasn't their heavyweight champion. I just thought his title, like I just thought he was the guy, and
Yeah.
he's holding the TV title, and you talk about that. I mean, this match right here, Macho Man and Steamboat,
Oh yeah.
those guys elevated that title at that time. That it didn't matter that it was the Intercontinental. That's the same way with our Sub Zero. It's like it doesn't matter that it's looked upon maybe as that secondary title because I don't feel that it is. I feel it's another singles competitor, a singles wrestler that's deserving of carrying a title with Below Zero Wrestling, and whoever holds that, you put trust or anything that they're gonna, help grow the company and everything like that. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, and I've looked at those titles as they're as important as anything else.
Oh no, there's definitely people that have definitely proven that. I know. I mean, you mentioned the Intercontinental title. I know right now with kind of veering off topic a little bit, but Gunther, however the hell you want to pronounce it, with him and the Intercontinental title, there was a while where it didn't seem like that title meant as much to the company, but now he seems to be bringing that, elevating it back
Mm-hmm.
up to where it was like, with, hell, the Rock and Stone Cold, their rivalry initially started with the Intercontinental title. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
definitely those.
No, I agree. I agree. Those other titles are necessary for everyone.
No, most definitely. And, starting out, we talked about, getting ready for this show coming up November 4th. Now, as of recording, there's been 2 matches going. We have them all down, but we'll start off with the 2 that we have announced as so far as of recording. One involving a pretty good friend of mine, actually, Jay Fowler versus Jack Ledger. That, like, I know that, hell, I think just about everybody knows Jay Fowler can go. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that one turns out.
Yeah. Fowler is someone he's wrestled a couple times for us now, and I have him. He's going to wrestle a lot more for us. But he just came off a one of the best matches I've ever seen against him and Sierra up here. I know him and Sierra are wrestling all over the Midwest right now and putting on, 5-star classics essentially all over. And Jack Ledger, he was our first ever champion.
Mm.
And he can go. He can. And you know, he's been predominantly mainly in North Dakota that he's wrestled a little bit now in Montana, Minnesota a little bit. But he was trained down at the Nightmare Factory with Cody Rhodes and those guys, and him and Fowler are going to put on a legitimate show stealer. I mean, I know they will. And I think Fowler's got a little bit of aggression. He was supposed to wrestle Morrison at our last event, and
Mm.
uh, Delta Airlines
Oh,
made
yeah.
that impossible. But I think he wants to prove that he's here to stay in BZW.
No, hey, he's definitely one that can for sure do that. I know. I mean, you mentioned the matches he's had with Sierra. They're actually here in Omaha getting ready to have another match between the two of them,
Yeah,
which Sierra just won the right to have that match at their last show. So
at
there,
the at the
it's
at the Rumble they had. Yeah,
yep.
yep, yeah. I love Magnum. I followed Magnum for a long time, and yeah, watching Sierra and Fowler wrestle. I mean, like I said, I could watch that all the time. They just are both so good at what they do. And then you put them in the ring, and their chemistry is really, really good. They just have that chemistry that some people have, and those two
Oh
have
yeah.
it with each other.
Oh, for sure. And when I saw her come out during that rumble, like I started like thinking right away, like maybe a few minutes after she got out, I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna do that here.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, it happened. I'm like, okay, I'm not disappointed with that one.
No, no, and no one will be disappointed if anyone. I had someone say something to me one time, about intergender wrestling or whatever. But that when those two wrestle, it has nothing to do with intergender. It's two wrestlers going
Yep.
out there because you don't even think that it's a guy versus a girl or anything.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. I will sing that match praise to anyone that
Oh, yeah.
it's just they're great.
Oh, yeah. And I'm looking forward to that match with Jack Ledger. But you bring up a good point with the intergender matches. I mean, like, lots of different genres of professional wrestling. There's the supporters, there's the detractors, and I've actually brought it up with a few people. Billy Starks, one that. Well, excuse me. I love my Dr. Pepper, but it gives me the burps like crazy. Anyways, brought it up to her because she's been in a lot of great intergender matches. Yeah. And it's like, for everybody out there, we want, equality, equal footing for everybody. And when it comes to professional wrestling, what better way to prove that, you have people that can go with anybody than putting, regardless of gender, putting them up against each other and letting them prove exactly that they can go with anybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of great intergender matches out there. There's a lot of amazing female wrestlers, amazing male wrestlers. Some of them want to stick to just wrestling other girls. Some guys want to just stick to wrestling other guys, and some want to wrestle whoever, and that's fine. But when people get negative about intergender wrestling, I want to say go watch Sierra versus Jay Fowler, and then get back to me.
Oh yeah,
then get back to me.
Oh, most definitely. Now, the next match that so far has been announced for November 4th, I'm more familiar with one of them.
Okay.
And this match is Nick Nelson versus Mr. Inkredible. Now, I'm more familiar with Mr. Inkredible because back when it was fully loaded wrestling was still going strong, I was actually up there for a show, and I got the chance to be a special guest ring announcer for my friend's match, which it happened to be, my memory's a little fuzzy, but I remember he was involved in there in one fashion or another. I can't remember right now which team he was on at the time, but I'm familiar with him there. Now, for those that might not be familiar with either of them, describe how you see this match playing out, because I know Mr. Inkredible, he can be one intense guy and he can go.
Yes. Yeah. Inkredible's been doing this for a long time. I mean, they both have, but yeah, you go back to the fully loaded days. You're getting 6-7 years ago. That would have been here in Fargo. But Inkredible, he can go. He can wrestle with anyone. He's a big guy. He's strong. He lays it in. But Nelson's again no slouch. The guy's super athletic. Athlete all of his life. But Nelson is more people hate him than not. He lets it be known that he's not there for the fans by any means. He's there to wrestle, and these guys are gonna, they're very familiar with each other. They've wrestled, all across the Midwest against each other. This isn't the first time that they've been in a ring. So two big guys that hit hard, that ring's gonna shake when they're going at it.
I can only imagine. You bring up with Nick Nelson, him not making it known he's not there for the fans. You know what? I got the hint of that just based off of the picture for the match when it was posted on the Below Zero Facebook page. I'm like, I might not be as familiar with him, but I can tell just by looking at that picture, he is the air quotes bad guy in this one.
Oh, 100%, 100%. He's not sure Nelson's ever been the good guy ever in any of his matches. And he'll tell you that. I mean, he'll within about 30 seconds, he lets it be known on who he is and why he's there.
So. Oh yeah, no, and in a way, I can kind of respect that, because there's a lot of those heels out there. There's like a lot of them are trying to be I guess, for the lack of a better way to put it, the cool heel.
Yeah.
And then there's those guys out there that okay, anybody that's watched my show knows that I don't necessarily have too much of a filter, especially when it comes to strong language. But there's guys like, and I'm getting the feeling with Nick Nelson, he's definitely that type that he just doesn't give a shit. He's gonna be that bad guy. He's gonna be out there just to wrestle, be that guy. He doesn't care whether fans are cheering him. He's just gonna do what he's got to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's the way he is. And like I said, these guys are going to put on a great match. It both go out every single time and kill it, and they're going to do the same thing, in a couple weeks here.
Oh yeah, I can definitely sense that. Now, oh, excuse me, god dang. All right, so we got some more matches that haven't been put out on social media yet, but like I mentioned before we started recording, this episode is going to be out the Monday before this November 4th show. So by the time it comes out, there's going to be some other matches announced. What else do we got on this card?
Yeah, so I mean, there's going to be, we were just talking, Sierra's going to be there. She's going to be wrestling a newcomer, Briar, Hale. I'm sure you're familiar with the Hale sisters. They're both going to be there.
Yes.
And so they're going to be there. That's going to be announced probably soon, but by the time people are watching this, it'll be out. And we have some other great matchups. Big Mac, John McKenzie is going to be there. He's going to be in a tag team match with Uriah Upton, who's a big time up and comer, can fly around the ring. They're going to be wrestling some new guys again to Below Zero with Bryce Jordan and Ethan Everheart. I know Ethan, you might be a little familiar with.
Yeah, I'm Ethan Everheart. I believe it's been a while since he's come through Omaha, but I'm fairly familiar with him through there. And talking about Big John McKenzie, his interview is actually coming out. As of recording this, it's actually coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
So that was excited to have him on.
Yeah, I've he's another guy that's been with Below Zero Wrestling back since Mac. When he was with Sylvester J. Fox and part of Sly Guys here, and that blew up. And his current gimmick, I think, fits him perfectly. I think he's going to have a great run, being a lot of our fans are calling him Lumbermack.
I've called him that myself.
Yep, and wherever he goes, whether he's Lumbermack or John McKenzie, whatever it is, but that gimmick fits him very well.
That it does. Like those that the listeners and watchers from our section of the states will know the former gimmick there, where it was kind of Kevin Nash Diesel-esque.
Yep.
Which, I mean, he played it off well. But this one, it seems that he seems to really be having a lot of fun with it. Definitely seems like a natural fit.
I agree. He was at a couple shows ago here, and we were talking about it, and I said, this just it feels so right with you. It just feels like it's an extension of you. And that's one thing that people have always said with wrestling gimmicks is, you want it to be an extension of yourself, essentially, because that's just going to make it so much more believable, so much more authentic. And I truly believe that's him. He's just a big, smiley, lovable guy that is just really going off on the lumberjack, and it's working. I think it's really going to work. I'm excited what 2 years from now is going to be from him.
Oh, most definitely. And yeah, you bring up a good point with the gimmicks that really seem to catch on and do well. All do seem to be that natural extension of the person, like them turned up to 11, as they say. Like, I know Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of my all-time favorites, him in the ring, he always said that was just him naturally turned up a notch.
Yeah. Yeah, you love to see when guys do that because that's when you're not really like playing a character in a sense then.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just being yourself, and you can just kind of let loose and turn it up to 11 when you get inside that ring or in front of the camera, and
Mhm.
that's when it really works. And we have a few guys like that. There's just it's awesome to see gimmicks that work because
Oh,
guys try it
yeah.
so much, and it's great to see things like that.
Oh, yeah. It's great to see when things catch on. Now we got we got some more matches here. Like I said, we've only had the two announced so far,
Yep.
but I know you guys got some stuff to fill out the rest of it.
Yeah, so then one match that I'm really looking forward to, we go back to DeLorean Diggs.
Mm.
So he'll be defending the Sub-Zero Championship, actually against two guys, which seems to be a theme for him, getting put in triple threat matches. But it's going to be him versus Bobby Brennan and Joey Avalon. And so
Ooh.
that's going to be I we talk about Jack and Jay, Fowler and Ledger stealing the show, but if you think that Diggs and Bobby and Joey are going to sit
Oh,
back and say, no, 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 like this is going to go. So
oh yeah. No, I'm familiar with all three in this match, and yeah, if there is one match that I mean we've gone over so far, if there's one that can steal the show, as they say, that one definitely on paper sounds like it can definitely be that one.
yeah, all three guys add a little bit different. You know, Joey is Joey. He's the badass heel. I mean that's the best way to put it. And Bobby is came into his own. He had the character change. He's Power Bobby Brennan. He's in by far the best shape of his life. And DeLorean just keeps putting up in front of guys that like I said, I think this is his second for sure, maybe third triple threat that he's had to defend the title. So it's like, hey, here you go, workhorse. Um, back to triple threats, and he's for it, and
Oh yeah.
he loves it. He likes the challenge, and so that's going to be a great part. And I'm missing a match. I'm trying to pull up my here we go. Yeah, we got one more then. So Macen Mayhem versus Nick Lund versus Lucas Alexander, which
Okay.
um,
Mason Mayhem, I'm familiar with him from back the we mentioned Fully Loaded back in those days. He was
the
another one on
classics.
that card that I got to see.
Yeah, yeah. Mason's been doing it for a long time. And guys like Nick Lund, he's up from Sioux Falls with like Flagship Wrestling. He's actually one of the promoters up there, but it's good to get him up.
Mm.
And then Lucas Alexander, he's actually from Jamestown. Worked a little bit, so this is his first time for us, but it'll be good to get a local guy there and get him some in-ring work as he looks to continue his career and further that. So
That's gonna be an entertaining match. It's been a while since I've been able to watch Mason Mayhem. I mean, us both having the kind of military backgrounds that we do, him, and I'm hoping I'm not getting this wrong because sometimes I have trouble even remembering what I had for lunch. But I believe him being Marines, me Navy, but we have that common background.
yeah, and you know, again, another guy that lives his gimmick. That's just an extension of himself, and he's great to have around. He interacts so well with the crowd. He's out before the show saying hi to the kids, making sure the kids and everyone's having fun. But he really knows, the kids are there because we all were kids once that loved wrestling, and you
Yeah.
remember when you were at shows and when you had that interaction with whoever. And so Mason's great, but then the second that bell rings and he steps inside, he's going to beat you up. Like he is. That's who he is. He doesn't hold anything back, and so that with everything else we have on the card, that one might get looked foreshadowed as it's but those guys are gonna bring it too. I mean, I'm so excited for Jamestown. It's it's a brand new, it's a debut for us. We've never been there, and this card, as we've talked about it now, it's stacked, and the way to call it. So,
Oh, most definitely. That match might be what a lot of people might call the sleeper match, where it's like people might not necessarily think, with all the rest that's on there, they might not think too much, but then, they get into it and watch it and they're like, okay,
mm-hmm.
this was like, I knew it would be good, but all right.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing whenever we put together match cards, myself and then my business partner Zach, we've always talked about, and we'll, or I'll say to him, I'll be like, no, this could be a good match. This could be a really good match. And it's like when you start putting the match card together on like when
Where
when is this match going? When's this match going? You're like, man, we got 6 matches that could all be in the same spot, and it's a really good problem to have
oh
when you have
yeah,
6 quality matches like that.
oh most definitely, yeah, it's awesome when you can have matches all be of that quality.
Yep.
There's some promotions that you know they can do that somewhat frequently, and there's others that, I mean, they don't really get that often. And it sounds like you definitely have one of those here, and that is awesome to see.
Yeah, we're so lucky and fortunate to have the guys and the girls wrestling for us that we do. I mean, we have so many down from the Omaha area, Sioux Falls, North Dakota, like in Minot, some from Fargo, and then into Minnesota and Wisconsin. I it's hard for me to get everyone on every show. I mean,
Yeah,
you want everyone there, but there's only so
yeah.
many spots, and I would say that that's a good thing for us, that
Oh,
we have that relationship with so many people, and able to have so many of those guys and girls work for us. I've said it before in my Facebook posts and when I've talked to other people, but I truly believe that Midwest wrestling is better than anywhere in the United States, and we get to be part of it. And I get to kind of pick and choose from all over the place because I'm like right in
yep.
the middle of it. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Midwest definitely gets kind of slept on when it comes
mhm.
to independent wrestling. You know, excuse me, dang. But like people think, meccas of independent wrestling, they're mostly thinking, West or East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But good Lord, the talent that the Midwest has, there's so much talent here that could be anywhere on national television that, you know, they just get slept on because of the location, I guess.
Yeah, no one ever is going to think of North Dakota. I mean, Minnesota has some great heritage and some great
Mm-hmm.
history, lineage, when it comes to wrestling. I mean, at
Yeah.
AWA, and
Yeah.
some of the greats, and but even a place like Minnesota doesn't get looked about. But yeah, you think of South Dakota and Nebraska and Iowa, and everyone just looks at it like, that it's farm country. It's corn and soybeans and wheat, and you guys aren't wrestling up there. You're all out in the fields and tending to your livestock. Like,
Yeah.
so when we get to pick, uh, from so many places. I mean, there's so many wrestlers out there that I've never even been able to, that I haven't used, that I could put together just as loaded as roster with everyone that I haven't used for a Below Zero. It's awesome. I love wrestling, and I think that there's so many good promotions out there. I mean, we have a lot of promotions, but I think there's some really really quality promotions through all these states as well that really helps each other.
Oh, yeah.
Even if we're not working together, but having quality promotions helps wrestling. And at the end of the day, we just want wrestling to thrive.
Oh, yeah. Wrestling is always better when, you know, there's, more competition out there, people being able to work together. I mean, AEW has proven it with, their working relationships they've had with, New Japan. They had, I don't know if they still have it with Impact, but they had it with them. And, hell, even now WWE is kind of branching out a little bit here and there, allowing, Nakamura to go over to Noah, and, the relationship they're having with Booker T's promotion in, Texas, and having some of the NXT talent going over there for a show or two. It just benefits everybody.
Yeah, it really does. And like I said, you don't have to be the best friends with all the promotions. You don't have to be working side by side with anything, but just having good working relationships and just having the ultimate goal of like, let's just make wrestling better,
Exactly.
And so that's why, like Magnum, for example, a lot of the guys that wrestle down there, wrestle for us. And there's been a few different times that I've went back and forth on a message like, hey, what day are you guys having an event? We're having an event this day, just to make sure that, the talent can potentially work for both of us.
Yeah.
And it's not like me and them have to be the best of friends, but we're just have that working relationship of, looking out for the greater good, that let's bring quality wrestling all over the Midwest and upper Midwest.
Oh, definitely. That working relationship, that working respect that, everybody can benefit.
Yeah.
Definitely. That is awesome. Well, looks like we pretty much ran through the card. We've gone over some topics outside of the card. I am looking forward to hearing how this goes. Where can people follow Below Zero for, social media wise? So help, if they aren't already paying attention, they'll get their eyes there, because I guarantee when the rest of this card gets announced, there's going to be more people wanting to get their eyes on the
Definitely.
Below Zero product.
So our number one social media is Facebook, Below Zero Wrestling. But we are on Instagram and Twitter, both again Below Zero Wrestling, and YouTube. We've really started to do a lot more with YouTube, and going to continue to do that. Again, it's literally Below Zero Wrestling anywhere and everywhere. Make sure to follow us. I actually just got notification with our Jamestown show. We just sold out our last 2 front row seats. So tickets there are going real fast. So by the time people hear this in a couple weeks here, I might be at capacity. Who knows? So we're really looking forward to Jamestown. But if anyone wants to look at any of our other events, belowzerowrestling.com has a list of all our upcoming events. Right now we have 3 through our big one, Winter Slam, next February, which is that's our WrestleMania, and that one's going to be really special. And
I can imagine. I've heard about a few of those, and they always seem, like you said, Below Zero's WrestleMania. That they definitely, you see the people that get announced for those, and you're like, I can see where that would come up.
Yeah, and we not only with the people that are going to be there, just with our guys and our talent. We have two announcements there on match types that we've never done before, and they're not simple stuff. So the matches alone, then add a name talent here or there, and we're going bigger, better, and I can't. I love doing this. Below Zero is awesome. So I definitely appreciate you having us on just to talk about everything.
Oh, most definitely. I've been hearing a lot about you from, people that I'm friends with down here, and then I'm like, you know what? I gotta get those guys on, because I'm hearing all sorts of stuff, so I need to get it right from the people.
And next step is you gotta make the drive up here and get to a show. A Winter Slam or a Wrestleversary aren't too bad of shows to stop up for one time.
Oh, I will definitely have to keep an eye on that and see see about making it up there. I always say I love the podcast, but unless family thing comes up, because like I always say family first, with
always
people that have had to cancel for whatever reason because of a family thing. I'm like, family first, dude. We can always reschedule stuff.
Always,
So
always.
unless a family thing comes up, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye so I can try to mark it down to make it up there.
There you go.
All right. So that is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I am looking forward, as I said, to seeing how this November 4th card turns out. And hell, best of luck with everything and things shaping up for Winter Slam and everything beyond that.
Yeah, like I said, thanks again. We're really excited for Jamestown and just for the future of Below Zero Wrestling.
Definitely. Same here.